Los Angeles is to most people beaches, cars, and of course Hollywood. I'm here to explore its unique architectural and design legacy, which, to be honest, has, until recently, been snubbed by the critical establishment and rather ignored by its own inhabitants. Nonetheless, it is here in this sunny mecca of dreamers and entrepreneurs that LA has emerged as a pioneering and influential architectural playground, where revolutionary ideas are tested and major trends born. This could seem a slightly strange place to start a journey to try and understand LA, the metropolis, but this place kind of explains why LA is here at all. Now, it's a natural phenomenon where crude oil and methane bubble up into a hole in the ground, and what it shows us is that LA is actually built quite literally on oil. The whole LA sand basin is sitting on one of the biggest reserves of crude oil and methane anywhere on the planet. And over 100 years ago, Los Angelinos worked this out. The tar pits are also like a microcosm for the whole modern city, because you've got the oil, and this being LA, you've got Hollywood. So over here, you've got the fiberglass mammoths with the mums stuck in the tar and the little baby. I mean, check out his face, you know, shouting across. We have no idea if it happened like this. We're rewriting history for entertainment. And just over here, you've got miles of sprawl, 6 lanes of traffic. LA today is a great city in more senses than one. It's huge. The La Brea tar pits, surrounded by farmland just 100 years ago, are today located on Wilshire Boulevard, right in the heart of LA, which after a century of massive growth now stretches for over 450 square miles. If you want to get to know LA, and if you want to truly understand it, well, you've got to get in the car. You've got to drive. The famous architecture critic Rainer Banham once wrote, "I learned to drive in order to read Los Angeles in the original, because there's no doubt here the car is king." Now, there are a number of main arteries that slice right through the heart of this metropolis. And I'm going to take a drive down one of them, Wilshire Boulevard, because I think if you journey down this road from here in downtown right out to the Pacific Ocean, this drive in some way tells the entire story of LA. Cars and oil helped quickly turn LA from a sleepy farm town with Victorian gingerbread mansions in the hills into a bustling city. New ideas and new architecture came thick and fast. In the early 20th century, as a reaction to mass production, the American craftsman style promoted the use of uniquely designed, handcrafted natural materials. By the 1920s, as the ever-growing city of LA marched west toward the Pacific along Wilshire Boulevard, this emphasis on artistic creativity helped lead to the new architectural style of Art Deco. Just here is Bullock's Wilshire. Now, this building was built as a department store. It was one of the most progressive at the time. And it was built when the entire city had gone Art Deco crazy. 2 years after Bullock's opened in 1929, the Edison Company unveiled their new headquarters just off Wilshire Boulevard at 1 Bunker Hill. How are you?
Very good. Welcome to Los Angeles.
Wow, this is amazing. I feel like I'm in some kind of Egyptian temple.
Isn't it wonderful? Why don't you come in here and we'll take a look around. Of course, the beautiful elevator cars that you can see. The wonderful design motifs, the murals.
It strikes me that, you know, when I see this building, when I enter this building, I mean, it's really a neoclassical building. I mean, it's still a very traditional layout. Is that quintessentially what's going on with the Art Deco in LA? I mean, it's not redefining architecture, but it's beautifying architecture.
Yes, it's an anointing architecture. You know, you're in Los Angeles, where we really do like to dress it up. And so we were dressing up our buildings the same way as we did ourselves. The spandrels between the windows and the ornate sculptures on the outside of the buildings, particularly if it was a corporation building, really made the building stately, and became a work of art.
So there seems to be a whole kind of hodgepodge of different styles going on in here.
Yeah, it's a wonderful embracement of the whole period of Art Deco that embellishes the 1930s in Los Angeles when it comes to Art Deco and architecture. A lot of the influences from the discovery of King Tut's tomb in 1922 really had a major effect on Art Deco architecture here in Los Angeles as well as worldwide. And this building has wonderful design motifs from the period.
So that's meant to look a bit like the Hall of the Kings in
absolutely.
In Karnak.
You're walking into a building that says you're welcome, you've arrived, it's a stately environment, we welcome you, we want you to look at the building and feel like you're really in a special place.
Because I mean, it's almost Baroque in the level of decoration, isn't it? I mean, this amazing kind of semi-coffered ceiling.
Yes, and the enrichment of the tile, there's actually 17 different marble tiles used in the making of this building.
In a way, what's unique about the LA approach is a freedom.
Yes.
Is a kind of an empowered sense that
Yes.
I can make this building about dolphins. I can make it about King
Yes.
Tut. I can do what I want.
Yes.
Because I have that sort of confidence.
Yes. Corporations and individuals building their buildings basically gave a probably an outline structure of what basically they wanted their building to appear to be, but they gave total license to designers. And the designers, with that kind of freedom, actually thought way outside the box, even for those days, a little on the edge, or pushing the envelope for even that time.
This is like 1930s, 1931. How long does Art Deco have its day here? And then what happens after it moves on? Because this town is all about the new, isn't it?
Yes, it is, yeah. We were saying, wow, we really like that, what's next? And towards the end of the Art Deco, the domestic Art Deco style became streamlined modern. It was kind of the next phase.
In the mid-30s, the architect Robert Dürer was invited into the office of the owner of the Southern California Coca-Cola Bottling Company. It's owned by a guy called Stanley. And he goes into Stanley's office and he's sitting there waiting for Stanley to come in. He's looking at the wall and there's a whole wall covered in pictures of boats. And so Dürer has an idea. He goes, I know what I'm going to do. He wants this new building. I'll design it to look like a boat. But actually, it's a cleverer building than that, because what this was originally was a series of 4 separate, distinct buildings that were trying to be made to work as a single bottling plant. And all he's done is skinned those existing buildings with this outside facade and given it a certain amount of pizzazz and showbiz. In so many ways, this building is a quintessential Los Angeles piece of architecture. Here we go, back onto Wilshire, back towards the ocean. Of course, there is a slight danger of trying to do a tour of a city in a car while you're driving, in that you end up staring at the buildings too much. Not looking at the road. I suppose it's an occupational hazard, really. Now, we're just passing into an area called Hancock Park, and I'm just going to swing off Wilshire again and drive through this part of town, because it was built in the 1920s by another oil magnate called Hancock. But it was an area designed for wealthy people to build these huge houses, whether it was East Coast money or new money in the city. And architecturally, it's like a very eclectic part of the world where people just built whatever style took their fancy. Tudor Revival here, half timbered and brick, kind of Italianate almost, that one. Pueblo, sort of Spanish style. Wow, that's like the Breakers, that's very East Coast. Good old American plantation house. I mean, it's all here. It's like a sweet shop of architecture. And what's interesting is in this part of the town, people were very much looking outside of LA for their cultural cues. They were looking either to the East Coast or even further to Europe. But in another part of town, all of that was changing. In the hills east of Hollywood, centered around a man-made reservoir, the Silverlake neighborhood attracted wealthy bohemians who commissioned houses from avant-garde young architects of the Modernist movement. Richard Neutra was one of these innovators.
is where you really understand what Neutra's trying to do with space and light.
This is great, isn't it?
Well, Neutra is one of the three people who kind of kicked off this style in Los Angeles. First, Frank Lloyd Wright was here in about 1905, 1906. Rudolf Schindler emigrated from Vienna in 1922, built his own house. Neutra came 3 years after. Two things are different today than they were in 1932. The lake came all the way much, much closer, and the rooftop that's right in front of you was flooded with water. And what his big revelation is that our cognitive systems are based on our genetic ancestry on the savannas of East Africa.
It's just evolutionary psychology, effectively, isn't it?
Yes.
It's early days of evolutionary psychology.
Yes, absolutely. They become one shining...
Wow, so water on the roof, straight out onto the lake.
Yes, and he said, if we can respond to our body physiologically and psychologically to that ancient Homo sapien, deep, deep, deep within us, then we're going to have an architecture that really resonates with us emotionally, physically, psychologically, all those ways. This was supposed to be a sanctuary, a very quiet space. It doesn't really have a function per se.
So in a way, it's almost the ultimate LA space, just hanging out, checking out the sun, just kicking back.
And kicking back and having a place to do that.
It's great. It's wonderful. Inspired by the same revolutionary but elite design ideals, some LA architects endeavoured to bring the modernist movement to the masses.
Hi, can I take your order? Can I help you?
Can I have a dream burger with fries and a strawberry milkshake? Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Hi, Charlie.
Hello.
How are you doing?
Very well. Very well.
How's the hamburger?
It's a great burger.
Well, I always try to send people from out of town here to Pans for the food, but also because of the architecture, because it's just a wonderful place.
Do you want a coffee or something?
Coffee, please.
Now tell me, what is Googie?
Googie is that ultra-modern bank. Ultra-modern architecture which developed after World War II, and especially here in Southern California, which really captured all of the optimism, the delight, the interest in high tech of the time, and looking forward to seeing a whole way of life. That's what Googie and Pans really captures.
Why the name Googie? Where does that come from?
The name Googie comes from a coffee shop which was on the Sunset Strip here in Los Angeles, a place where people like James Dean did actually hang out. It was a cool place, but especially the architecture. It was designed by John Lautner, who was a student of Frank Lloyd Wright. And it had that very open, organic, unusual, kind of modern style of architecture.
So how was the architecture of someone like Frank Lloyd Wright, or that period of American architecture, modified to appeal to the new car culture?
Well, one idea of modern architecture in Frank Lloyd Wright was to get rid of the box, to explode it. And that's what this building does. As you see, it really doesn't have any corners. The space wraps around you, and the glass lets the outdoor and all the activity of the cars and the street outside come right inside. And that's part of the architecture.
So it's very much taking that American tradition of Frank Lloyd Wright and sort of giving it a dose of steroids so that it can sit next to a freeway and catch your attention.
Exactly. And of course that was part of the how the form followed the function. Because these are car-oriented buildings. These were meant to catch your eye as you drove by at 30 or 40 miles per hour on the street and grab you and say, this is a great restaurant, hey, I'm hungry, why don't I stop and come in?
Was the kind of influence of this style, first within LA, the legacy that it left, and also, a greater influence over the world, if you like, across America and across the world?
You think about the number of people who actually lived in Frank Lloyd Wright houses.
You had to be minted, basically, loaded to live in a Frank Lloyd Wright house.
And then you compare that to the number of people who have, enjoyed Googie at this very counter over the years, and you see how tremendously successful these Googie buildings were in bringing modernism, establishing modernism, making modernism the style of the 20th century.
Do you think there's something about Los Angeles that meant that Googie could only really kick off here?
Yes. It was freedom is what California is all about. You moved here to California to do away with your old life, to start life anew, and people would let you. And in architecture, this was the only city that Frank Lloyd Wright could get a job for 20 years in the teens, 20s, and 30s. Nobody else would hire him. But here, people just said, sure, go ahead, do it. Knock yourself out. And there's that atmosphere that goes across the culture, certainly through the movie industry, through lifestyles here in California, which allowed Googie to really take those ideas and take them as far as they possibly could.
They seem to be very keen on German sports cars in Beverly Hills. We're going to go up Rodeo Drive. Now, I would have thought you'd pronounce it rodeo, but I'm reliably informed it's rodeo. I think because it sounds a bit posher. It's quite interesting that I thought it was just us Brits who were stuck up, but it's not. Of any of the parts of LA, I think this is the bit where the glamour of the movies in real life just kind of blurs and crunches into one great thing. And I think the boundary between real and fake, I mean, who knows where that is? I mean, these people, body beautiful, beautiful life, Dolce Vita, the whole thing. Beverly Hills is also like almost as big a brand name as LA itself, or as big as Hollywood. And it's supposed to be where it's at. This is supposed to be one of the best shopping streets in the world. It just looks very clean. Wow, there's the Beverly Hills Hotel. I love the font. That's really nice. I'm gonna get back down onto the boulevard and keep on trucking out towards the ocean. See where we go with this story. LA is not just about the super rich. It's much more than that, because actually I think its most powerful export has been the ability to offer everybody, just about everyone, no matter how rich you are, a shot at living the dream, the LA dream. After World War II, LA set a national trend with affordable suburban tract housing. Modernist open-plan homes, inspired by California's year-round sun and free spirit, offered a dream lifestyle for America's middle class fleeing the old urban centers. Hello, Adrian. I'm Charlie. Hello, pleased to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
So this is it. This is the Eichler home.
This is the Eichler home.
Okay, oh, right. So straight into a courtyard.
Exactly. People are always deceived when they think they're knocking at a regular front door and they'd be entering the house, but instead
You come into this.
come into the open air atrium. And then
Oh, sliding
everything's
doors.
glass,
Are these the
and then
original
you
doors? Are
Come
these-
into the living
Wow,
room.
look at this. So the whole house kind of sits around that courtyard in a kind of a big flow.
Exactly. Yeah.
And then straight out to the pool. It's the
So
whole
you can
the whole
jump right into
dream,
the
isn't
pool.
it?
Exactly. The
whole
whole California
lifestyle.
dream.
And you can see right back through the house, can't
Exactly. You can come out here for a view, and you can see that it has a step up to a 10-foot ceiling here
Yeah,
for the
yeah.
entertainment portion, and then it drops down for the living areas here to make it more intimate.
you? And then these are all original as well. These white kind of blocks here, these tiles, typical of the design, is it?
Yes, actually, this is probably considered kind of an Eichler signature block.
So show me the kitchen and the rest of the living space.
You come right through the living room into the kitchen, and
And
it
the
opens.
dining room.
Right, it opens right out into the dining room, so that the housewife can be here preparing lots of food for the many modernist guests.
just coming into Santa Monica, and it was opened out. The streets are bigger, taller buildings, and we're moving towards the kind of the coastal bit of LA, which I think for many of us is what we sort of think as kind of the ultimate LA destination, you know, life on the beach. So I've made it to the end of Wilshire Boulevard. It stops just there. And I've come here to the ocean. In so many ways, this really kind of sums up the city, or what people think of when they think of the city. Sun, surf, sand, sea. It's all here. You've got Malibu up there, you've got Venice here, Huntington down there, and it runs right way down the coast, down to Mexico. Now, downtown, we saw money, movies, oil. But out here, you get a real sense of perhaps LA's most enduring legacy. The idea of freedom and that laid-back lifestyle. And that's had such a massive influence on the architecture of this city. Now, you might think that's the end of our LA story, but actually, there's a whole new chapter. And to go and look at that, well, I've got to go all the way back downtown. Oh, my God, that's bright. It's really hot as well.
Yeah, yeah.
The Walt Disney Concert Hall emerged downtown in 2003, kicking off LA's 21st century with a galvanizing new landmark that is helping to bring about a renaissance in what was once a cultural ghost town.
One of the things I think is so successful about Disney Hall is how it's situated on the top of Bunker Hill, and there'll be moments when I'm driving through LA and suddenly it's revealed.
Bang, there it is.
It's there, and it's so unexpected, and I love it in the context. I just think it's magnificent.
This is a very joyous piece of architecture, isn't it? The architect and LA resident Frank Gehry had previously gained international fame as the designer of the Guggenheim Museum in Bilbao. And when the Disney Hall debuted 6 years later, some thought it was a diluted copy of Gehry's earlier success. But the Disney Hall had in fact been drawn up and approved years before. The problem was apparently parking.
This being LA, the first thing you had to sort out was the parking. The parking lot cost between $90 million to $110 million.
Wow, so it's right underneath us. It's like, no,
yeah.
it's like...
It was a huge pit. They built the parking lot and ran out of funding, basically. So the project was stalled. This is a beautiful moment, yeah, exactly.
Into the sunlight.
There were some problems with the polished areas because it was reflecting so intensively that the people who lived in the condominiums across the street were having soaring air conditioning bills. And in fact, a garbage can got melted.
Just
melted.
What, because the sun was hitting it and
because
just
it was
focusing
hitting it,
down?
and exactly, it was like a parabolic mirror. They had to hand sand some panels to take down the reflection in areas that were left shiny.
The most famous garbage can in history,
exactly.
then. The melted garbage can. They should probably put that in a gallery somewhere.
You know, it's like the drawing board and then the practical.
Yeah.
Right?
Musically speaking, the new home of the LA Philharmonic has won critical and public acclaim for its innovative acoustic design.
I think that if you think about LA and you think about what your image of LA was, what icons popped into your mind? You know, the Hollywood sign. It's just a sign on a hill, really. You know, it's hardly anything. You know, that was some realtors put it up in the 30s as a marketing ploy. I think Disney Hall has become iconic for LA. And I think that's been a good thing because it's sophisticated. You may not love it, but you're gonna look at it, you're gonna think about it, you know, you're gonna have a reaction to it. It sort of confronts you.
I've had a great time here and seen some amazing buildings, and it strikes me that this city is at something of a crossroad. Either it maintains its current sexy, addictive, but ultimately very destructive course, Or, as I hope, architects and designers can continue the progressive, creative tradition of the city in defining a sustainable future that maintains the LA magic. It's a big ask, but this is LA, and anything can happen in LA.